play you one measure of a Haydn sonata slow movement. It's only one measure, but it's full of mathematical issues, or what we might call rhythm problems, or counting problems. When you encounter a complex setting like this, do not take it straight to the piano and see if you can figure it out. Instead, close the piano, put your example down, pick up a pencil. This is not a pencil, don't dare to use a pen, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so the first rule we're going to follow is start with the easy things, not the hard things. This may seem really obvious, but let me mark my first counts. I have two measures here. I'm going to put a 1 at the beginning of the first measure and a 1 at the beginning of the second measure. Fine. Next, continuing to work on the easy parts, not the hard parts. I look at the left hand, not the right hand. Oh, what do you know? It's just a half note. I know that last two counts, and I see that it's tied to a quarter note. So I can put a 3 over that quarter note. After the quarter note, still watching the left hand, I see a quarter rest. This is really easy. Now I can put a 4. Okay, now I'm in pretty good shape. I have 1, 3, 4, and 1. I'm not sure where 2 should go. So now again, I'm going to look at what is not the hardest thing. For me, the hardest thing is all those beams on all those notes at the end of the first measure. So why don't I go to the beginning? I'm pretty familiar with triplets. I know that a group of triplets with 2 beams, that is 16th note triplets, equals an 8th note. Fine, and I see that there are 2 groups of those triplets there. So this tells me where to put my 2. I'm going to put my 2 after the 2 sets of triplets on the beginning of the dread 30-second notes. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All the main beats are in. I see an opportunity for one more easy thing to do between 3 and 4. Anyone can see my and should go simply between those 2 numbers. Okay, now let's go back to those triplets. In a way, I already figured this out because I said that each group of triplets equals an 8th note. This means I can, after the first group of 8th notes, put my and under the beginning of the second group. Now I have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1. Okay, now it's time I have to address the 30-second notes. I'm going to actually count the notes. I'm not going to guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it's an even number. This makes my job a lot easier. Now I know it's 4 plus 4. And that tells me where I can put my and, which is under the first note of the second group, which is E flat. Okay, now I'm only missing one thing. I see 4 30-second notes, so I put my and there. And now I have it all filled in. Now it is time for me to try to figure out how to play this on the piano. I don't quite trust myself, though, to do it without a partner. So here's my partner. I'm going to put the metronome here, and I'm going to think about how it can most help me. I can manage if I put it on 16ths. However, that's not going to work for the beginning of the measure. Never mind that. Let's do it the easy way. I'll start from the very end of the measure, which is a good way to practice anyway. So I get 2 30 seconds to each tick of the metronome, and I play the last group. Now I'm going to add the 2 30-second notes before that. Now 4 is a tie. When you have a tie, just play it. Take out the tie for a minute. So this will be, might as well just go over and try those 30-second notes in the earlier part of the measure as well. Beautiful. Next thing I need to do though is cut this in half, because triplets will not go with a 16th note tick. So now I'm on the 8th note. This will take a couple of tries before you have it perfect. But believe me, the best way of ensuring that you don't learn it wrong is to study it first, work it out with a pencil, and then take your partner to work with you. This is called music math. I'm Nancy O'Neill Breth, and these are effective practice tips. Try them.